Hi, it's Steve Baker with the Great Game of Business. Again, here with Rob Levin from Work Better Now. Hi, Rob. How are you?
I'm terrific, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Always fun to. We were just talking about this as we got into the conversation here. We should probably be having drinks right now in big, overstuffed leather club chairs or something, right?
That would be really awesome. Let's try to make that happen in the next
Let's
few
figure
months,
that out because I think everyone would enjoy it even more than they already do.
or at least we'll think that they are.
Well, it's all that matters, right, Rob? Well, I've got a really big question for you now because we've talked about things like AI and why everyone should have an assistant, and also all the different other potential part-time or fractional outsourcing that you can do. You have a very special model in which your talent, your professionals, are basically lined up with the United States in Latin America, which I think is brilliant because now you're on time zones. You've got people who are educated in the US, have great English skills. We're talking about folks that you don't know, it doesn't really matter where they are. But there are still people out there who are either fearful or resistant of what we might call overseas talent. This would almost be nearshoring or something, wouldn't it? What? Tell me a little bit about number one, why it's a good idea, how it's secure, and why just about every business and business owner should be considering it right now.
Right, yeah. So let's go back. It's we're here we are at the end of 2023. Let's go back 4 years. It's 2019, right? And we could have been having this conversation, and it might have been about this notion of hiring remote talent, hiring people that are not in your office, right? And a bunch of companies were doing it. This is pre-pandemic, right?
Yeah,
And then the
barely.
pandemic hits and everybody gets comfortable to some degree, varying degrees, but most people got pretty comfortable with remote talent, right?
Yeah.
And certainly the workforce did, right?
Will it
So
train guys like me with this color hair to use Zoom in a whole different way, right?
and here we are, and we're on Zoom 18 times a day now, right? So the way we look at it is offshoring, or in our case, nearshoring, is really the next step. Okay. Now, why would somebody do that? So, okay, I'm good with remote, but why would I want to consider hiring nearshore or offshore, just outside of the United States? Well, I'm going to give you a few reasons. So, I think we've talked about this before, Steve. They're small and mid-sized businesses. I don't know about large businesses. I don't really care, but small and mid-sized businesses are in a talent crisis, and we've been in a talent crisis for years, and it's not going anywhere.
No,
What
it's not.
what does that mean? What is this talent crisis thing? Number one, there are more job openings than there are people looking for work. Okay. Number two, the amount of time it takes to hire someone, according to LinkedIn, is about 6 weeks on average. 6 weeks for a small or mid-sized business means 3 months. Why? Because by the time you got around to saying, finally, let's pull the trigger and writing out that job description, you probably needed somebody 6 weeks ago. Okay.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
it takes a long time. Salary expectations are through the roof. They're softening a little bit, right?
But there's
But they're
still,
still through the roof.
yeah,
And then
unbelievable.
productivity of U.S. workers continues to decline into negative territory, which is weird with all this technology that we have. So, as a business owner, there's a number. You have a number. You have to run your business. It depends on talent, and you have a number of headwinds. And when you go when you went remote a few years ago, you did it because you wanted to expand your talent pool. Well, now when you go offshore, you're really doing the same thing, but you might be getting some other benefits. So I can't speak about I'm not going to speak about the entire world. I'll talk about our workforce, which is located throughout Latin America. You have, as you said earlier, time zone alignment.
Mhm.
You have cultural similarities.
Yeah.
You have people that have worked in English before, right? And they have the English proficiencies there. Um, a lot of them have an owner's mentality. They get invested in the success of the business, just like an owner does. It's really powerful. And for them, working for a US company is often better than working for a local company. Not always, but often it's better pay. And culture tends to be better in most, not all, US businesses. So it's very appealing and it attracts really good talent. So those are the reasons why people should be considering nearshore or offshore talent.
So I really love how you pulled out. I mean, yeah, talk to me about money. I'm always going to pay attention, right? It's a better value. It's better for them. It's better for you. But also, you talked about the ownership mindset, which is a core tenet of the great game of business. And so everyone that's tuning into us talking about this is already like, well, okay, tell me why. Can you talk a little bit about where that ownership mindset comes from?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you like where it comes from culturally. I don't. I'm not going to go there because that's not my area of expertise.
Okay,
I'll just tell you that that's something that we screen for during
that was my theory.
the recruiting process. And look, we all have we have we have employees here in the States that have the similar mentality. It's just a little harder to come by, particularly these days. And it's something that we screen for, and they're very just appreciative to have a really good job that pays well.
Gotcha.
And
Well,
that
my
goes a long
theory
way
was
too.
sorry to step on you there. My theory was that it was your proprietary screening process where you're taking all of those candidates that could be out there for me, let's say, and then we bring them together and you continue to weed through them to find the right fit. But I like how you kind of tuned it in there and said, it's not just that; it's also the fact that having this work and being related to a U.S. company is preferable. So we're going to maybe tune up our attitude a little bit. We're going to be a little more attentive to the needs of the culture, the other coworkers, et cetera. I love that. And then, of course, the cost. Let's be honest. There is the advantage there for the U.S. based company, right?
Of course, yeah, much lower cost of living in those countries. So the what you pay, whether you hire directly or you work with a talent provider like us, is going to be a lot less. On
So
top
you
of all
talked
of those
about
things.
the 2 to 1. If I'm not mistaken, I think you said that. That's certainly what we're hearing from our economists, that there's 2 jobs for every person in the U.S. I would like to ask, are you seeing that in the Latin American countries as well as you continue to see what's happening there? Or is that even an issue because you're really, again, taking a large population of candidates, bringing it to a smaller one?
Yeah. So first of all, that 2 to 1 is shrinking. It is going down. I think it's more like 1.5 or so to 1, but
Okay.
that's still a problem. If it was one
Oh,
to
yeah.
one, by the way, it would be a problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
So as far as the macroeconomics in Latin America, I couldn't tell you. All I can tell you is that every month, without without it's just like a machine now. We're getting thousands of applications. Now we whittle that down to under 1.5% in terms of people who are approved to interview with our clients. But there's plenty of people down there, and obviously not all of them are a good fit for U.S. based companies, but a lot of them are. I mean, we're trying to take the best of the best, but there's plenty of talent, not only in Latin America, by the way, throughout the world.
Sure.
Um, there's plenty of talent, and because of the really it's like an arbitrage in terms of cost of living differences and what local companies will pay in salaries. It's just a huge opportunity for U.S. based business and
Yeah, I
Canadian.
love it. I love that it's good for it's the win-win all the way around, right? Everybody wins out of this, and it's better. And that just it's our small way of helping to make the world better. In not just our local communities, but now we can be kind of world citizens at the same time.
Yeah, Steve, you know a little bit about my background. I've done some really cool things. This is by far the coolest thing I've done. And yeah, the company's growing and we're making money and all of that stuff. But a lot of clients are friends of mine, people that I know, right? Because I know hundreds, if not over 1,000 business owners. Many of a bunch of people are clients, and I get thank yous from them. Like, this has been a game changer for my business. But then I hear the stories of our professionals. I was able to get a new car. I was able to buy a house. I was able to do this for my parents. I mean, does it get any better than that?
No, that's the stuff, man. Those are the stories that, and for fans of the great game, that's the Sharon kind of story. I paid off my house, paid off my car. I owe nobody. I just love those stories because that's an empowerment that's totally different. And just being able to be a part of that is awesome. Now, let's take it one step further, and you got so talent crisis. We can all agree on that. You've got the economic benefit. You've got the cultural input back to, their lives are better, so they're helping out their folks, or they're having a better life with their significant other in another country. But I'd like to know a little bit about. Tell me about the relationships that happen between the peer-to-peer, or if somebody's a marketing coordinator and they're working with the vendor and that sort of thing. Have you seen any cool stories come out of the mixed culture, if you will?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna kind of go in a different direction if you don't mind.
Okay.
What I'll tell you is that the companies that are doing amazing with overseas talent, just like with remote talent, by the way, are the ones that are integrating them into their team. And the team loves them because they're very positive. The US-based team loves them. They're very positive. In some cases, they're taking workload off of their plate so that they can focus on high-level activities.
Yes.
That's where we're seeing home runs, where they're just integrated and everybody's happy and
That
productive.
addresses my question, because that's where I was headed. Was
Right.
what's it like for the whole team? And frankly speaking, we see it every day. I know you do, we do, in our clients. There are so many companies that are running remote anyway. It doesn't matter if they're in Utah or Paraguay or Bolivia. Wow, can we just be people, and can we get the job done?
You,
That's pretty powerful.
maybe I always felt so. In a way, I was nonchalant when I hired my first assistant from El Salvador in 2013, 2014. It was nonchalant, like, what's the big deal that they're in El Salvador? Now, maybe as I think about this, I'm a first generation American. My wife was born in Latin America, so my kids are half Latin American. To me, it was just never a big deal.
Yeah.
If the English is there and the attitude's there and the experience is there, let's go. I just want good people on my team. And by the way, I don't know if I shared this with you, but we're up to like 28 or so people. We have 3 salespeople here in the United States. We have my partner in LA. I'm here in New York. Our entire team, including our leadership team, is in Latin America.
That's amazing.
And we're going to make the Inc. 500 next year, the first year that we're eligible.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Well, what you're talking about is a mindset, or maybe it's a mind hurdle that we just have to get over. Especially, you'll see it coastally a little bit more quick on the uptake, so to speak, but that's the way it is. But here in the Midwest, I think we have to make it okay for business owners and business leaders at all levels to say, there's talent out there. Let's go use it, because we have one choice: grow or decay. And we don't want to be on that boat. So
Right.
let's do it together and make the pie bigger, right? Why not?
Exactly. Couldn't have said it any better.
I love it. Well, Rob, one last thing I wanted to ask you in relation to all of this is that, we've talked about it before, but I want to reinforce it now. In addition to the alignment, language, time zones, all that sort of thing, we also have the fact that it isn't just assistance, it's levels throughout an organization that you can help out with. Would you refer to a few of those so people can understand, hey, I ought to be thinking about what's possible?
You mean like the different roles that we're providing?
Your professionals, yes.
Yeah. So you have executive assistants. You know how I feel every business owner should have an assistant. Then you have marketing coordinators. You have project managers, customer service reps. You have people in dispatch. You have property managers. You have investment analyst support, right? So that the analysts can really do their thing. You have people in the bookkeeping departments. On our site at workbetternow.com, we list a bunch. We can't list them all because we're adding new ones each week. The way to think about it is, it's like the higher end of entry level up until to manager. And as long as it's not too technical, we're not going to provide. We don't provide software developers. But by the way, there's plenty of companies that do. We don't provide lawyers. We do have some law clerks, but there are plenty of companies that do, and that support accountants and technical and engineering and all of that stuff. We do a little bit of that, but there's plenty of companies out there, and I would encourage you to just get onto Google and start poking around.
And also maybe even challenge Work Better Now to come up with something that you need would be one thing that we could do.
You can
on
always
this
ask us, and if we don't think we can help, we will tell you. Our salespeople, our client consultants, we're all about creating that wow experience. That wow experience is, if we can't help you, we want to tell you quickly.
I love
But
that.
many
That's one of the
cases,
reasons I like working with you, is
yeah,
because you tell it like it is.
yeah. Many cases we kind of surprise ourselves. So the other day, a friend of mine who's an architect said, "Do you have anybody with CAD CAM software experience?" I said, "I doubt it, but let me ask." I came back. We have 3 people in the pool. So do you want to interview? Do you want to meet them?
That's fantastic. And you told me a story earlier about the even estimators, which is a really big issue right now, is finding people that can actually handle big projects, and also the workload to keep up, because it's all a volume game for some people, right?
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
We have people sometimes that have that experience, and then we have people that are really just ripe for that upskilling, which is going to be, I think, one of the next trends for small businesses in the next 10 years.
Absolutely. It's high on our list of topics, I will tell you that. So we'll talk about that one next time. Meanwhile, where can they find you, Rob?
Workbetternow.com.
I don't know how to make this easier for people. I mean, workbetternow.com. Rob Levin, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Steve. Lots of fun. Appreciate it.
We'll see you.